And we're all set to go. Let's be comfortable, everybody. Welcome, welcome. All right. So just want to say that I'm really enjoying these daily practice sessions with all of you. It's nice to just end each day with a nice deep meditation. I don't even know if this is exactly a meditation, but it just is what it is. So that's why I'm just calling it a daily practice. Sometimes it's more meditative, sometimes less so. But the intent is quite clear. It's to reconnect us to our strength, our clarity, our power, reconnect us with our inner guidance. Today, we're going to do a fun practice called quantum entrainment. It involves seeing your body and mind as a highly intelligent system, highly integrated system. And anything that's feeling a little off, whether emotionally or at a belief system level or even at a health level, we see that not so much as a problem, we see it more as it is some lack of information somewhere in the system. So it's a gap in information. And if there was full flow of information in your body and mind, then there would not be these gaps. So somewhere it's gotten blocked. Just look at it as though information has gotten blocked. In the deepest sense, information is blocked, and when information is fully available to all parts of the system, then there's no disease at any level. Just go with that assumption for now. Don't have to fully believe it. It's okay. So in this practice today, what we're going to do is we're going to just take up anything in our life that feels a little bit off or even very off. Could have to do with your relationships, your work, anything. Could be your health. Could be some habit you have, an addiction you have. Addiction, even, in fact, yeah, I like what Eckhart Tolle says. He says the real addiction is always to thought. Very good point. We think addiction is to this substance or that habit or this shopping or that. No. Addiction is to thought. And there's a certain sticky thought that comes up, and we just tend to go with it. So anything that's not serving you. So step one, we'll identify that. Step two, it might seem a little strange to you, but you will literally place the fingertips of one hand, or could even be a single finger, doesn't matter. Could be all the fingertips, could be a single finger, on any part of your body that for you represents this problem. So it could be in the middle of my heart, could be on my right knee, could be on my lower back, could be on my cheek, doesn't matter. You just intuitively go like, okay, for example, if I'm getting troubled with, I'm not feeling I'm managing my time too well. I feel I could do a much better job managing my time. And intuitively, my right hand just wants to go and touch the base of my throat. It could be that, it could be anything. You can't do this wrong. So you will intuitively touch a part of your body. And again, I'm not going to say right hand, left hand. I'll even let you decide which hand. One hand that is representing the challenge, the problem, and it'll touch intuitively a part of your body. Could be with one finger, could be with two fingers, could be with all fingers. Step one. Or rather, that's step two. Step one, you identify the issue. Step two, you touch. Step three, the other hand will touch any other part of the body. And this represents the solution. Even though you don't know mentally what the solution is yet, but it represents the outcome. At some point, this is completely resolved. So you will go ahead and you will touch. And again, it could be on your thigh, it could be on your back, it could be on your chest, it could be on your face, anywhere, it doesn't matter. So 3 steps so far: identify the issue. Left hand or right hand, doesn't matter. One hand touches with one finger or more fingers a part of the body that represents what's stuck, what's unfinished. And the other hand touches another part of the body, which represents what is complete and whole. And now we'll do something interesting. Triangulation. So what's triangulation? The problem, the resolution of the problem, the possibility, and that which knows, that the part of you that's aware of both of these points. That's awareness. And triangulation means we will connect, we will find the place where all these three things become like one. It's like in origami, you're folding paper on top of itself. So you'll find a way, and again, this is something that's hard to explain, but just do it. Just do it like a mind experiment. It's almost like these 3 points converge. These 3 things converge: the problem, the possibility, and that which knows, both of these. And this triangulation becomes a unity. And that's the way this process works. And we're going to do this a few times today. And just do it with an open mind, open heart. Do it without expectations. Do it playfully. See what happens. It sometimes can lead to profound shifts. And who knows, maybe you'll have that profound shift. And in any case, you'll learn something really cool, because there are people who've had dramatic healings and dramatic shifts in their life through this very simple process. So let me guide you through it. So step 1, go ahead and identify any area of your life that's feeling a little off or very off. Give you 10 seconds. Sometimes you're not even sure what it is, but it just feels like something stuck and heavy. That's also fine. You don't have to necessarily articulate it. And maybe give it a number from 0 to 10, just so we can check if there's been any shift at the end of this. So 0 to 10, 0, it doesn't bother you at all. 10 is unbearable. At this moment, as you think of this thing that feels off, what number would you give it? The number I'm getting is something like a 6.5. You can choose any number that comes to you. Now take one hand, could be any hand, right or left, and just touch any part of the body that for you represents this problem, this issue, this off. Take your other hand and touch any other part of your body. And again, let the hand intuitively decide where it wants to go. You can't do this wrong. Touch another part of the body that represents, if this is off, then that's on. It's the opposite. It's the place of full integration. It's the place of full healing, place of full power. So go and touch. And now recognize that there's a part of you that's aware of the sensation of both these hands touching. This is awareness. This is the 3rd point, if you can call it that. So there's one point, which is the challenge. There's one point, which is the resolution of the challenge. And there's another, which is awareness. And now your work is to become aware of all these 3 simultaneously. And in a way, make them overlap until you can't tell one from the other. Feel the touch, both the touches and the awareness. And now overlap all 3. Again, overlap all 3. Like all these 3 are touching at the same point. Again. Release the hands. Just be quiet for a bit. For some of you, this is going to sound quite strange. You'll not be quite sure. what's to be done, but just go with it. Just do your best. Be willing to do it badly before you do it well, because there's no way of doing it badly, actually. And just check 0 to 10, how strong is the number now? Is it the same intensity or is it less? In my case, it seems to have come down to about a 4. So go again, touch one hand anywhere. Could be on your knee, could be on your back, could be on your chest, your face. This represents the unresolved. Touch the other hand, this represents the resolved. Become aware of the touch of both of these. This is the part that's aware. And now merge these 3 things, overlap these 3 things. The left hand, the right hand, and the knowing. And even if you can do that for 1 microsecond, you would have achieved something spectacular. So go ahead. All these 3 things, the problem, the possibility, and the awareness, are overlapping. And again, and again. Triangulate the feeling of the touch of the issue, the feeling of the touch of the resolution, and the awareness of these 2. All 3 come together. And release the hands, just be quiet for a bit. Whether or not you feel anything, whether or not you understand anything, something very beautiful is happening. So just keep playing with me. I'm getting this very beautiful guidance that every single one of you who happen to listen to this is so exquisitely blessed. You're going to have such an exquisitely blessed life. Exquisitely blessed, not just ordinarily blessed. So now your palms can rest on your knees or at the point where your legs emerge from your abdomen, or any other symmetric position. Preferably hands are not touching each other. And you can check the same issue. What number is coming? Is it the same or is it changed? In my case, it's come down to about a 2. But in your case, it might be different. It might have even increased. There's no right way for this to happen. And whatever's the residue, if any, then one hand represents the residue. One hand represents full power, full integration. And one hand is aware of both of these. Rather, awareness is aware of both of these. And now connecting all three. The challenge, the resolution, and that which knows. What's it like to overlap all these three? You can focus on the same one, yes. Focus on the same issue until it comes to a 0, and you can go to a new one. So challenge, resolution of the challenge, and the awareness of them both. And you now converge all three together, make it into a singularity, folding them one on top of the other. So beautiful triangulation again and again. This touch, and that which is aware are converted and converged into one point where all three are true. And repeating this process over and over again creates a neural network, a brain circuit, wherein no matter what comes up in your life, you acknowledge it. You also recognize the possibility inherent in it. You connect both. And the third thing of awareness, you connect all three. And so deeply that you can lose track of how much time has gone. You can lose track of where you are. This is how you cut through the matrix. It's kind of triangulation done again and again. So you would continue like this until it comes down to a 0. And then if you want to take another issue, another challenge, another stickiness, another heaviness, another doubt, or anything else, in one hand, represent it somewhere on the body, Just touch. So it's quite a simple process that's repeated again and again until it becomes a knack, just like scratching an itch is a knack. The knack of dissolving whatever is coming up in your life into nothingness, entering the great mystery. Take up anything else in your life that feels a little bit off or very off. Let one hand touch any part of the body with one finger or more to represent that challenge. The other hand represents the solution, the best possible outcome. And the awareness in between represents that which is watching both. And then we triangulate, we overlap all these three. We feel as though these two hands are touching each other, even though they're touching in some different place. Right and left and awareness, triangulated, connected. And this is how we resolve and dissolve whatever's stuck in our life. This is a totally different approach from the ego approach of thinking. How do I solve this? How do I solve this? What's the next step? In this case, you acknowledge the tightness. You lean into the brightness. You're aware of being aware. And then all these three unite. Very nice. Simple practice called quantum entrainment. I think it's from a book by the Tom Stone. Not sure. That's by somebody else, by Tom Stone. I remember one particular flight where somehow I just got into the flow of doing this. And I just kept collapsing this beyond this, beyond this, beyond this. The whole flight, I was just inwardly collapsing things, one after the other, after the other. Just kept going. And I came out of that plane feeling so light, so light. I was flying. Like the deep sense of contentedness, okayness inside of me. So like this, if this resonates for you, it's a bit of a deep practice, so I can understand if some of you are, yeah, that's right, Frank Kinslow, that's the one, The Secret of Instant Healing. So I've given you the heart of the book already in this small session. Identify something that's off, that's troubling you, bugging you. Take any one hand, touch any part of the body. Represents the problem. Take the other hand, touch any other part of the body. Represents the solution. And then a part is also aware of these two. So go ahead and overlap, integrate all these three things, right hand, left hand, and awareness. Very nice. All right, this is feeling quite complete for today. It's quite a deep process. The name of the book is given. Let me actually copy and paste it. Somebody's shared it already. The Secret of Instant Healing, an introduction to the power of quantum entrainment by Frank Kinslow. Yeah, Smith, I just shared it. Great. So some of you had a shift and some of you maybe were confused. If you were confused, you can revisit this practice. Remember, it's a bit of a deep practice, so you be kind to yourself. It happens sometimes. And before long, you will have a sense of this. There's an even simpler method of this practice, which you do one step less. So basically, instead of three things, instead of left, right, awareness, you just do left, right. That's also known as matrix energetics, that process. But I like this process more, where you do right, left, and awareness, and then you collapse all three. You enter into a no mind state, at least for a micro moment. And that's a tremendously, tremendously powerful creative state. And things come into alignment at a really great rate. Cuts through the illusion. Very nice. Why don't you all take rest? You can conclude for today. The body became hollow for a while. Yeah, very nice. Different things will happen. Yeah, something different. Very nice. Had a profound healing. Very nice. Do you have any question about this? You can ask. I'm happy to answer. If anybody has any question, happy to answer the question before we end. Yeah, it is quite a powerful healing method. I feel light in my tightness. I feel light in my first tightness. That's nice. Body is vibrating. Went from 10 to 0. Excellent. I'm not quite sure how to gauge the number. You don't have to be exact about it. Just whatever your sense of the number is. Basically, more intense is closer to 10, and less intense is closer to 0. So just whatever number comes into your head when you're close, when you reflect on it, it's the right number. I couldn't do it properly, but how should I do it? Get confused in between. So I would even do quantum entrainment for this confusion. So one hand represents confusion, saying I can't do this. One hand represents, you can actually do this right now, Saloni. One hand represents confusion, touch any part of the body. The other hand represents absolute clarity, touch another part of the body. Feel the touch of both hands. Now awareness knows both of these. right hand and left hand. So now overlap all 3 points. The left hand, the right hand, and the awareness. And like that, you will learn to collapse even your confusion. That's how it goes. How does the number reduce or increase? It's hard to describe why. It just does, isn't it? Because the reason the number is there in the first place is you have a strong preference for one over the other. A lot of attachment to what's wrong. So we're moving that, we're shifting that from what's wrong to what's right, to feeling it, to entering into the zero state. Wrong and right is thinking mind, conscious mind. Feeling it is subconscious mind. And collapsing the polarity, that would be the superconscious mind. That's where no healing is needed because nothing's out of place. So that's how the number reduces. Found resolution, but doubt in self or future. Then you would again do a 3-pointing quantum entrainment for the doubt in the future. So doubt in the future, one hand, confidence in the future, the other hand, awareness of both, and bring all 3 together. Tightness left completely in the first round. Yes. My body is still integrating the resolution. Yeah, that can happen. And the more you do this, at least in the beginning, you will have a knack of how this works. The integration will happen faster and faster in most cases. How frequently should we do it to resolve the serious issues? I would say don't even get too attached to resolving it. That would be the next level of stickiness. So do it playfully. I would say do it 2-3 times. It's actually quite a powerful process. Don't have to keep doing it. 2-3 times and then just be quiet after that. If you're doing it again and again, hoping to resolve it, then there's some new level of attachment that's come. Just do it a few times, 2, 3, 4 times, 5 times. That's it. Don't have to keep doing it so much. And it'll resolve by itself. You'll be amazed how you're like, oh yeah, that used to be a problem. I haven't even thought about that for weeks. It can go that cleanly, you know. I felt a changed feeling doing this. I feel light doing it. Yeah, nice. Integrating part feels a little difficult, unable to feel or imagine it. That's fine. This, like for example, one simple way of integrating would be you're touching the body, right? And the awareness is also at some level aware of the body. So the body already is the point of integration. Body is the point of integration. Body is where all these 3 points are. So that's a simple way to integrate. It didn't change. It's still at 10. All right. We're not trying to force this. Maybe it's the beginning. And I would go one level deeper. So now what feelings do you have about it not changing? Maybe you feel disappointed. Maybe you feel, you know, this doesn't work for me. Things don't work for me. Then you would do one hand of that, one hand of the opposite. Just remember, nothing's out of place. Even the not healing is part of the healing. One hand is very heavy, the other hand is normal. Yeah, these things will happen. There's no why to it. This energy is balancing itself out. So just don't overthink it. Let it happen. Beautiful. I'm not in a haste. It will slowly seep in. Yeah, well said. It will seep in. I did it for my relationship with my mom. I don't know how to check. And yes, feeling light. Yeah, so you will find out tomorrow or whenever you meet your mom if there's a shift. Are you as resistant or is it a little bit cleaner and clearer? Yeah, very nice. All right, everybody, why don't you take rest? Be well. Thank you. Namaste.